Hey everybody, welcome to We Run on Reruns. I'm Amanda and I'm here with my brother Eric.
How's it going, everybody? We are here with our post-holiday episodes of Friends Season 7 with episode 11, the one with all the cheesecakes, and episode 12, the one where they're up all night. And we are, we're here doing our thing.
We're still here.
And I just want to remind everybody, if you could, to follow us on our socials. Find us out there.
Oh, yes. Yes. We're out
we went through a whole process, I think, on how to do 5-star ratings last week.
If you made it through the last episode, we talked about it.
Yeah, if you figured it out. So, if you could give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, that would go a really long way for us. And, of course, you can find us on YouTube and Instagram and all the other socials out there. Not to mention our own website, werunonreruns.com. So thank you guys so much for checking in again this week. And here we are.
Yeah, we talked about on Spotify. It was a little bit tricky. I know we had some feedback that it's like, hey, where is the 5-star rating? And on the episode itself at the header, there's like those little 3 dots. And if you click on those 3 dots, there'll be an option to say, hey, rate this show. And so it's more about the show than like on the episode itself. And that's kind of, we just wanted to point out.
I was going to say, that's the thing. It's not the episode. It's the show. You have to go to the podcast front page, because if you're just on the episode, you're never going to find it. So you got to go to the show. And I think
it was something similar with the Apple Podcast.
Yeah, Apple Podcast. It's also, you got to be on the podcast. So you can't really rate specific episodes. You can rate the podcast as a whole. And if you're on the podcast for Apple Podcasts, you just scroll down. Yeah. It's actually way easier to find. But you have to scroll for a little while to find it. So it's there.
And it's similar on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. There's also, Eric, I don't even know if I told you this, but I added us onto, it's called TuneIn. It's like, it's used with Tesla.
Oh, yeah.
And like other, it's like their app. And I got this notice that's like, hey, do you want to add to TuneIn? And I threw us on there too. So we're really everywhere.
Well, TuneIn Radio was like, I feel like they competed at one point with Pandora and with iHeartRadio and all of them, because I feel like the deal with TuneIn.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing with TuneIn was you could actually tune into like radio stations where some of the other, like Pandora, didn't let you do that. And then iHeartRadio came out, and that also lets you find local stations. And so that was all part of that whole thing. But I'm sure it's been brought out and repurposed. Pandora was great.
Like the thing, because it was like you could discover new music. It's like, oh, you like listening to this, and then it would just like throw you into listening to some other band that was similar, but wasn't like on a dedicated list that you came up with. It was a really cool concept. I don't really know when I officially fell off of using it. It just sort of happened. I don't know.
Well, we're out there on all of it, so you can find us no matter where you're at. I will say, personally, I find Spotify to be the one, but at the same time, if we have someone who wants to advertise with us, and, hey, I can switch. Just saying.
Yeah, well, just being audio focused, Spotify, I feel like tends to be, where I know I catch a lot of my, the podcast that I'm listening to, if I'm not, if it's not something that I already have set up somewhere else. So Spotify tends to be just the all-inclusive platform for a lot of stuff. But we're everywhere. So 5 stars, really appreciate it. And just as a reminder of where we left things off last week with Friends, we had Ross getting Phoebe a bike, Monica making candy so her neighbors will like her, Rachel was giving Tag an inappropriate evaluation at work that he accidentally shared with her supervisor, Mr. Zellner. We also saw Ross wanting to teach Ben about Hanukkah, and Phoebe's apartment being ready for her to move back into, and getting worried that Rachel didn't want to move in again with her as well. But then in the end, Rachel and Phoebe no longer live together because the 2 bedrooms was turned into 1 bedroom. And so now we have Phoebe living solo again, which, Eric, I know we talked about. We kind of forgot that Phoebe was even living with Monica and Chandler. Like, it didn't really showcase that at all. So
I genuinely feel like somewhere along the lines, they said, okay, we know we got to get Monica and Chandler to like progress through the steps. So we want them to live together. What are we going to do with Rachel? And like Joey's apartment became like a good avenue to bring in a guest star like Janine and things like that. But then like, where do you put Rachel? You can't really have Rachel live with Ross. That doesn't work. So
we see that later too.
So then you put her with Phoebe, but Phoebe lives out of the way. And there was nowhere to go. So I feel like this Rachel living with Phoebe story, and then of course as they're living together, they're only doing that for about 2 episodes before they set the place on fire and can't go back. So then Phoebe's with Monica and Joey, and Rachel's with Joey, and it's like the most forgotten piece of story in maybe the entire series. It just doesn't ever get showcased except for a couple of episodes.
Today, when we're talking about these episodes today, because we have more time in the second episode that we'll be talking about, the one where they're up all night. That one we see Phoebe's apartment for longer. And Eric, I just kept thinking about all those things that Rachel and Phoebe had bought together in Pottery Barn, and I'm like, wow, that all just burned up with the fire. My God, that was an expensive fire. That was wow.
Was an expensive fire. It was an expensive fire. But anyway, Phoebe's done a pretty decent job redecorating in her own eyes, I'd say, like pretty quick.
Immediately.
So
yeah. Well,
yeah, it is what it is.
All right. Yeah,
but we move. Now we're going to jump into season 7, episode 11, the one with all the cheesecakes. And in this episode, we really had a breakdown between Joey and Phoebe and their whole relationship together, where they were meeting out for dinners to talk about the friends until a special guest returns. We also had Monica, who isn't invited to a wedding and has to go with Ross as a +1, but can't figure out why. And then we have the cheesecake of it all. Right? Yes. Where Chandler ends up stealing a cheesecake only for Rachel to catch him with the cheesecake. They get a second cheesecake brought to them. They try to return it, can't return it, end up stealing it a second time.
Yeah, it's a lot
of cheesecake. And then they argue over who's got the cheesecake, so they have to split the cheesecake in half, only for both pieces to be spilled out in the hallway. And you know what? They're just going to eat it right off the floor.
Hey, I that is honestly one of my favorite moments of this entire episode. It's just for a moment, but so good.
So, what about this whole cheesecake scene really stands out to you?
Well, I mean, honestly, there's 2 moments. It's when first of all, poor Mrs. Braverman. I mean, poor Mrs. Braverman. She's just trying to order these cheesecakes from a mom and pop cheesecake shop and continues to order them, and their delivery driver continues to give them or deliver them to the wrong location.
Well, they got to get people working at Mama's Little Bakery or whatever that know how to ship these things.
He's like, this giant cheesecake conglomerate, Mama's Little Bakery. Okay, so Chandler's trying to justify it to them that they're stealing this poor lady's cheesecakes, which, Eric, also one of the things that stood out to me in that moment was, okay, they know Mrs. Braverman's name because we just talked about in the last episode that they don't know anyone's name. So it's like, okay.
They figure that one out. I mean,
her name is on the box, I guess, so there is that.
Well, there is that.
But they knew where she lived.
But they knew where she lived. They knew her address.
Yes.
I mean...
And, which I guess was also on the box, but okay.
which then begs the question of how it got to Chandler and Monica's apartment. But that is, let's not worry about all these plot holes.
Okay, but Eric, these cheesecakes were massive though.
Huge.
I'm like, and I love cheesecake, but the idea that like little tiny Rachel and Chandler are like crushing these cheesecakes in a matter of like days. I'm just like, I don't know what to make of this. I don't know if Rachel's like storing it in her freezer for later. Love the moment when they tell Joey it's a tofu cake so that he won't eat it. That's good.
Smart. Smart.
Yeah.
I will say it. Listen, I love cheesecake too. Like, I'm down with some cheesecake. When that is an option, it's hard for me to select a different thing. Yeah. That being said, I desperately want to know what this cheesecake tasted like, so much that it would make me eat a whole cheesecake of the size of this cheesecake.
Yes.
I need to know. I gotta find this bakery somewhere because that seems amazing. And the fact that they got a second one and we're just like, yeah, we got to eat this one too. We're doing
this. Mm-hmm.
And I like it's unbelievable.
The idea that they like tried to bring it back, but then when they came back, it was still sitting outside, and they're like, "Well, we didn't want it to go bad," and I kind of get that. But okay.
Yeah, except for the fact that they hear her on the inside moving around, and then it's like, okay, so we've now created this completely fictitious situation. Right. Oh, she's on the other side of the door. We better steal it faster. Like
they could have knocked and ran off if they didn't want her to know. Yeah.
Oh,
this is clearly before the days of everyone having a camera outside their door too. So this would not happen.
I did think about that. Yeah, like Ring doorbell would have killed this real fast. But there weren't a lot. Yeah. I mean, listen, deliveries were still a thing, right? People got things delivered, but Amazon wasn't a thing. Not at this point. Not to the level that we know it to.
That was not a thing then at all. I mean, I was reminiscing the other day about how, like, when I first started ordering things off Amazon, and it was like, because I've just always loved reading, and so when I was in college, I would not only get certain things for school, but I think I also just started buying just used books off Amazon because it was like, wow, I could get all these used books for like $1 a book and like things that just,
but that's and that's how they started. That's not because you loved reading. That's because that's what Amazon sold was books. That's all they did.
If you didn't like reading, you wouldn't be buying used books off Amazon, Eric.
No, but I think it was the college move. Like, I think people bought used textbooks, I bought a lot of books.
Outside of textbooks, though. Yeah, I'm not talking.
But you and I both were English majors as well. And so a lot of the books that we had to get for class were like literature books, and so going on to Amazon was the move. Like, I have a complete works of William Shakespeare upstairs on my shelf that I bought off of Amazon. It was probably the first thing I bought, and I needed to go through and look like, does it have this play, does it have this play, does it have this play, just make sure it's got them all because that's what's on the syllabus for my school. So like, that was a thing that I had to find. I think that might be the first purchase I made, but it was definitely a bunch of books, and then you could resell them as well, which was crazy. Although I don't think I did a lot of that, but you could have.
No, I've never done that. So the other thing that we had a recurrence of in this episode was Rachel threatening to tell Monica what Chandler really thought of her baking.
Oh,
again. We have another dig at Monica's food. I'm like, what is happening? What? Why is Monica so terrible at making cheesecake too? Like, what is she good at with cooking, people? What's happening?
Okay, so here's what I've come to. And I don't know that this is right, but I'm determining that maybe Monica is a really good cook and not a great baker.
because of the cookie incident, which is a thing. I mean, not all chefs are also
cookies,
great at
it's
baking.
now cheesecake. It's those sorts of things that always seem to kind of crop up. And it's not just one cookie. It's been a number of different cookies that have been like, oh, why would you feed this to me?
Exactly.
It's not just the once. So it seems like baked goods, not Monica's wheelhouse.
That's true.
But her restaurant seems to be doing just fine. Unless you ask Janice. Janice will tell you otherwise.
The chicken was dry. Yes, right. Exactly. Like more than half the time when Monica's cooking comes up, it's because someone is complaining about it. I have a real problem with this. I'm not understanding like why they made this choice. I guess just to be funny. But
it's got to be good enough that she impressed the guy who was very easy to impress, and also the restaurant hasn't closed down. People seem to be going to it, so it seems like it's okay.
Well, Rachel threatening Chandler with this is like, okay, fine, let's split it. So that's how then they agree to split it, which then we have the moment that really makes me laugh out loud every time when Rachel is leaving the apartment with her cheesecake and she's like, don't come crying to me, and then like drops it on the ground because she's saying she won't let him have a bite, like enjoy his cheesecake and she'll just enjoy hers. And Chandler comes out and he's like, oh, when he sees her cheesecake on the ground. And it's just something about Matthew Perry's reaction there that is so funny to me. Like, I just crack up every time out loud. It's great.
The thing that always bothers me about this moment, or it did, and I think I've worked it out in my head, but like, why would Chandler carry his cheesecake out there? Right? Like, yours is safe on the table. She just dropped hers on the floor. What are you bringing yours to the crime scene for? Come on now.
Just for the purpose of Rachel then knocking it down. That's why.
But I also think if I was in that boat and someone's telling me, hey, don't come crying to me, am I going to bring out mine and be like, well, look how great mine is? Yeah, I probably am. Yeah, I probably am going to bring it right out and be like, that
like
sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah. And he's like eating it in front of her. Yeah, because he has the one bit left on his fork after that. But oh my goodness. Yeah, this is bad. And this is very Rachel. I like the fact that she knocked it down because that is her move.
I will say that I have a recurring theme throughout these episodes again, but my favorite part to this whole story is the last like 5 seconds. Where they're both fighting over eating cheesecake on the floor in the hallway, not even in their apartment, but in the common area.
No,
they are both like down there eating whatever, and up walks Joey, and he just sits down next to him, pulls a fork out of his pocket, and is like, all right, what are we having?
All right.
And just starts.
It's so
just starts in on
funny. I agree. That moment.
I love that moment.
I have to say, I feel like the two moments with Joey in this whole cheesecake exchange, outside of the moment where Chandler is like exclaiming, "Oh my God," when Rachel, drops hers, is with Joey when he's like, turned off by the tofu cake. And then also at the end where he just has a fork in his pocket. It is so perfect that they had him do that. That it is the most Joey of it all. So I feel like Joey kind of steals this moment with his secret, not secret, but his unexpected humor. Yes.
I'm just saying, Joey is having a season. He is having a season. Like, he is killing it. Episode after episode, and I feel like it's okay. Chandler's becoming more mature, ? Like, and they're putting him more with Monica, so Joey is getting handed all these like one-liners, and he's showing up like in random places and backgrounds, and
is that what it is?
I don't know what it is, but Joey is delivering over and over and over and over again. And these two things with like the tofu, just backing out of it, and then showing up with a fork to eat off the floor, not even questioning the situation. Like, unbelievable. And you know what? It's not going to be the only time I say that today. I'm just saying.
And also, I know we haven't gotten there yet, but with the moments with Joey and Phoebe in this episode are also really good in a different way. So he is really funny in this episode for sure.
Well, let's save that for the end, and we'll dip into Monica not being invited to this wedding, which is interesting because she was told that there was limited seating, yet Ross has got invited, and not only has Ross got invited, but he's bringing his date, Joan, as Joey would refer to as Broadback. But
oh my God,
he's got a date, which means Monica's all of a sudden realized, wait a minute, not only am I not invited, but you are invited and get +1? Like,
I'm
leave
just
her
one
behind.
Tiny person.
Yeah, leave her behind. You're taking me. That's how this is going to go. And...
Monica's so pushy. Oh my gosh.
It's such a... listen.
It's so
when we
weird.
get to the end...
Eric, the concept of like wanting to go to a wedding that you clearly were not invited to, I'm just like, I could never do this. Like, this is nuts. I could never do this.
Well, we get to the end of this story here where Monica basically finds out that she has had a relationship with the groom.
Right.
And this is why that she's not invited. So what jumps out other than Monica's pushiness? What do you want to jump to here?
Maybe trust the bride's like reasoning for not inviting you, girl. Like, oh my God, if you really felt like, call up your cousin and have a real conversation with her. Like, it's just so nuts.
My thought was, hey, Ross, the groom's name's on the invitation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like never does it come up that she's marrying some other guy that you have already been with. Like, what are we doing here? That can't possibly come up.
My mind wouldn't necessarily go there.
But Ross has seen the invitation. He should know who the groom is. Last time I checked, wedding invitations have both names on it.
Was it someone that she dated for a while that Ross would have known about? Or was it just
we don't know this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know this guy.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that Ross would have necessarily picked up on it either. Like, I think the way that I took it was,
maybe
it was like a fling that maybe no one really knew about. But when her name maybe came up in the invite discussion, he was like, oh, Monica Geller, that's your cousin type thing. I don't know. And so... It's this is, but Eric, one of my favorite lines in this entire episode, I don't know why this comes up to me like all the time, just in my mind, when someone says blood relative, when Monica's sitting at the table asking other people, like, you know, how do you know the bride? You know, how do you know the couple, rather? And kind of quizzing people to see if it's more justified that they're there than she, you know, since she wasn't invited. She said, I'm a relative and didn't get invited. A blood relative. Blood. And Ross is just sitting there like, stop saying blood to strangers. And whenever I hear someone say blood in like a public setting, I'm just like, stop saying blood to strangers is just what I want to say.
It's true though. Like, there are a handful of words that if you say them the right way, like you start saying blood enough in that context, it starts being like, did you murder this person? Like, what's happening here?
Why are you saying blood so much? It's not good.
It's not good. It's not a good look, Monica. Not a good look. No. But, you know, Monica is one to not care what the look is. She doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like, when she feels that she's in the right, she doesn't care. And you know what's funny about that is she's the one who most cares what the look is.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
like,
maybe
she
Rachel
would be
does more.
No.
But...
No, I don't. I disagree with that. I guess I'm thinking
they're people with eyes.
Okay, this is different. I'm thinking more of, this is a wedding, right? Monica's going to care about all the details, the etiquette, how it is presented. Right. Rachel is going to care about her physical appearance most. I think there's a difference there. They both care about the look. Phoebe doesn't care about the look at all. No looks. No cares given at all.
No. Although, Phoebe is more about her moral standards, which we also see in this episode.
Well, let's talk about that. By the way, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say though, before we move on from the wedding, we do also have the moment with Ross at the end. Why on the lips?
Always. Why on the lips? And you know what? I feel like Ross speaks for a generation of people who have had this struggle at some point in time, and that's just not where they're interested in.
One of his elder relatives, when he tries to go in to say goodbye, she always forces his face around and wants to just lay one right on his lips. And he's like, why on the lips? It's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. As for hair, as we jump into this Phoebe thing, and we're talking about Rachel's physical appearance and Monica caring about how things are and saying that Phoebe never cares, right. I will have to add this note from my wife who said, man, Phoebe's hair looks more normal in this episode than maybe at any juncture in the entire series. And it's just very simple, right? Yes. It's very, very classic and very simple. And I think the reason is because it allows for this whole situation that we have, which is, and I'll jump into the storyline.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Phoebe and Joey are going out for their relatively regular dinner date where they get to talk about the rest of the friends. And Joey stands her up, and essentially Phoebe lays it out there that, hey, listen, girlfriends are going to come and go, but this is forever. And so Joey is incredibly apologetic, didn't realize it would upset her that much, even though his stance is, listen, if there's an opportunity for sex, friends take the back burner. But Phoebe makes a compelling argument, and so they agree to go out the next night, and he'll make it up to her, only for then Phoebe in the coffee shop to run into scientist guy David from many, many seasons ago. And he's only in town for a little while. And so Phoebe's trying to figure out how she can go on this date with Joey and also see David on the night that he's only there for a few hours. And then I do enjoy the scene with her and Monica where she's like, I should change my beliefs. I'll just change my whole belief system. No, I can't do that. But what the idea is, she's going to end up going and rushing through a date with Joey and then go out with David afterwards. Unfortunately, Joey finds out about this and is pretty bummed out, since we have this entire monologue before this of Phoebe making Joey feel bad. So he tries to extend the date at all circumstances. And I'll stop there and we can continue. So what do you want to jump into?
Well, I mean, this concept, it's just funny because obviously if Phoebe had just been straight with Joey, which she kind of was about like having a date, but she didn't. Although I guess she did come out and tell him it's with David, and he still gave her a hard time because of what she just did, which also makes sense. I mean, Phoebe, girl, you should have just got like just go hang out with David. Joey would have gotten over it in like 2 seconds. I mean, I don't think that was that big of a deal. I thought it was funny that Joey
that would change her whole belief system. Like, you can't do that. Like, and she's
my belief system.
As you said, like, she stands on her morals more than anything else, and that
she does.
That I mean, the irony is a lot of her storylines end up being that she's established this random moral stance, and that gets in her way more than anything else. It prevents her from doing
As
the
they
things she
can.
wants to be able to do a lot.
Yeah. I mean, but I love that they brought David back into this
love it.
episode. It was great, and because it's sort of, we haven't really seen Phoebe really get serious with someone. I mean, she attempted to move in with the guy who, shot the bird in 2 seconds after she moved in.
Oh,
but,
that was going well too.
I know. I loved the cop guy. Yeah, that was great. He was a great match with her up until that moment. And then it's like, oh no, that won't work at all, as Chandler said. But yeah.
I'm drawing a blank on his name. I was going to throw it out there, but I can't figure
Mike,
it out.
Was it? No, Mike is no.
No,
Oh my
no.
goodness.
Mike is later.
Gary?
But it's Michael Rappaport. Oh, Gary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it was Michael.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking Mike. I'm like, it's Michael Rappaport as the actor.
I always remember his
Gary.
name, like the actor's name, and I can never get the character. Gary, that's it.
Yeah, I could just hear Chandler calling him Gare.
Yes. Well, I was trying to get Chandler's voice to say it. I could see him sitting in the police station with him, like, going like, oh yeah, it's too early for me. You're right about that.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys aren't ready yet. No.
But I love David being here, and this makes a ton of sense. And I think, like I was saying about the hair, right? You must have pulled up a screenshot of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks very nice.
So my wife Tina said, "Wow, it's like just really nice." And I think they are doing that to showcase a very like classic love moment here for Phoebe.
Maybe it was a little bit more retro, like how her hair was when they first met.
No, I just think it's one of those. I think it is a more traditional look for a more traditional moment for Phoebe, is what I'm saying.
Could be. Yeah. Yeah. It's very pretty. And she, I love the moment between her and David where he's trying to tell her how he feels. He says something in Russian. She's like, oh, and he goes, that means please clean my beakers in Russian.
He also tries to tell her about this statue that reminds me so much of you. He's like, it's of Lenin, but in certain angles, like it's so good.
He's so funny.
And it's like, oh my Lord, what are you doing, man? But it's such a perfect match, these two.
Yeah. And he's, they're kind of, he wants to tell her that he loves her, but he's like, I wanted to say that, but I probably shouldn't because I have to leave. But I do. She's like, but I do too. And, but in the end, really, this moment between Phoebe and Joey is my favorite, where Joey comes around the corner right after Phoebe has to say goodbye to David, and Joey agrees that he wants to try to figure out David's problem, so that about subatomic particles, so that David
this
can
is
come
another
back.
moment.
Yes,
she said like, oh well, if you can solve the something distillation of subatomic particles, then then he can come back faster. And this is just another one of those moments from Joey where they hug, because she obviously is like, well, that's not going to happen. And he's like, I can give it a shot.
I can give it a shot.
And he goes right from this to eating cheesecake off the floor. So, like,
perfect.
Joey's just killing it. But I also love Joey at the dinner table, right? We haven't really talked about the dinner much, where they're sitting there and she... she basically lays it out there, and Joey's in the know that David is sitting out there somewhere waiting for Phoebe. And she says to Joey, hey, listen, don't make me feel worse about this than I already do. And he's like, no, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Just comes right over the top. It's like, nope, I'm gonna do it. And meanwhile, he's like sent the waiter away like 3 times. He's like, now how slow roasted is this slow roasted chicken or whatever? And he's like, oh no, it's already prepared. He's like, no, that's not going to do it.
No, forget that.
Just trying to drag it out. Meanwhile, all Phoebe wants is like a side salad with water. Like, just
he
how
wants
fast
to
can we
talk
move?
About their entire friendship. He's like, let's just, I really want to open up. Let Joey out on the open road. It's like, oh my gosh.
He's killing it. He's killing it. Matt LeBlanc is crushing season 7.
Agreed.
Sorry. Yeah. Just also, side note, this is titled The One with All the Cheesecakes, and if I could rename it, I would rename it The One with All the Names. Because we get Joseph Francis Tribbiani, we get Rachel Karen Green, we get the Rossitron, which we did not mention. We get we get Big Daddy. Joey's supposed to be Big Daddy. Like, we get multiple nicknames. We get middle names thrown in. Like, there's all sorts of new names being thrown into the Friends metaverse, if you will. There's so many names. And Rossitron, by the way, is the worst and also
Joey's
the best.
Reaction.
He's like, oh no, is that back? Is that back? Are we doing that? And Chandler's waving him off like, no, we're not. This is not a thing.
Apparently, that was an unshowed storyline that apparently
love
Ross
that,
was the Rossitron. Yes, I love that too.
Anytime they can do that sort of reference where it's like, we're referencing a thing that these characters have obviously talked about in the past that we are not privy to, I'm a big fan of those little moments because that's the stuff that kind of makes Friends click, I feel like. It makes it feel like we're getting
more real.
An insight. Yeah,
a glimpse.
We are looking in at these friends, but they are also friends while we're not seeing them. You know, like that's
Still
how
friends.
it feels.
Yeah.
They're actually friends.
Yes. Which I think they really are.
Well, now we're going to jump into the one where they were up all night. And in this one, we actually have a lot of fractured storylines. So it starts with them all waiting on the roof for the Baptiste King comet. But then these break into multiple different streams of episode. We have Phoebe's smoke detector. We have Joey and Ross trying to escape the roof. We have Chandler and Monica not being able to fall asleep and then being able to fall asleep and waking each other up half the time. But we also have Rachel and Tag. And so I feel like we're going to start with Rachel and Tag here. So Rachel and Tag's Rachel mentions offhand that she can see Tag's apartment from the roof, and that kind of goes weird for Tag. But they then fake going to see a movie so they can get off the roof, and Phoebe's like, I'm going with you, just get me out of here. Like, let's all go.
Yes.
Yeah. And then it comes out that there are contracts that Rachel gave Tag that needed to be mailed, and then the debate rages on over who actually gave the contracts to who. Were they not given?
Yeah.
Rachel clearly is in the wrong, never handed them to Tag, then hides them in his desk, only for when she's out of the way, him to relocate them and put them back on her desk where they should be for the first time. Love it from Tag. This is where we are. What do you make of it?
Makes me think of Phoebe's line, "You've met your match, Rachel Green."
Oh yeah, for sure. That's great.
Yeah, because it's like Tag, her opening up the bottom drawer where she snuck the reports or the contracts so that he would be in the wrong. Well, he was ahead of her and he grabbed them out of there when she wasn't looking and put them right back on her desk, which is where they were in the first place, Rachel. And Eric, what I just was thinking about in this scene is what we talked about last week, where it was like, Rachel, we know that she ends up ending things because he's too immature, but in all these episodes, it's like she's just taking the low road. Like, she's the one who he's kind of coming out on top.
Yes. Yeah. He is
he's
like
the one who's
clearly more mature of the two of them, despite being much younger. Yes. I'll say this. Now, there are things that they do to imply that he is the younger and the least mature. Like, for example, the phone bit, right? So let's talk about this.
I don't even get
Rachel complains that Tag does this joke where he talks on the phone with his genitals. Yes. Right? Okay. Fair enough. you've established that Tag is immature. They ran that joke back 4 times. 4 times they referenced this joke. There's not a lot of this storyline. Like, there's not a lot of time committed to this.
No.
They hit the same joke 4 times. What? Well, how could it possibly be funny? How could it be funny? I don't understand why that's funny. And then Rachel tries to do it herself and is like, I don't get it. That's 4 times. That's most of the storyline is running back the same joke. I really did not like this, just from friends in general. Like, it's not Rachel's fault or Tag's fault. What are you doing?
It's really random. Yeah, I agree. It's never made sense from any level. Well, he kind of even cracks up at one point, and I'm like, I feel like they just threw that in there only to drive home that Tag is immature, because they haven't really, like, when you really look at the storyline as a whole outside of that, Tag to me is the mature one who's making the, like, he did not send the report out. Rachel didn't put it on his desk, and Rachel could not. You could have referenced other things.
You could have shown him doing other immature things, and especially since it's a joke that she doesn't get, so we also don't get it.
No one gets it. Yeah.
Right. So what, like, why are we going back to this? It kind of reminds me of Ross and Chandler competing over who wrote the joke for Playboy.
The joke also didn't get it. Yeah.
Because we don't ever get to hear the joke. But at least that was a storyline that I understood. Like, it was about who's taking ownership of this published thing and got paid for it, and now is being a little bit more recognized. This is just an office joke that Rachel doesn't get and continues to just hammer home. I don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just say this, though. It might be controversial, but up until I'm thinking Rachel and Tag are a good fit. To me, as far as her relationships go, they're looking pretty good. I think I like their matching. I don't know.
It's not awful. Yeah. It's not. I don't know that I'm going to say it's good, but it's not bad. And the fact that Tag does literally flips the script on Rachel at the end of this by putting the contract back on her desk.
That was so funny.
Him. Yes. And when she calls him out on it and is like, what, did you just think this contract came out of your bottom drawer and walked across the room and put itself on my desk? He gets to be like, God. How'd you know it was in the bottom drawer? And she's like fully red-handed at this point and has to be like, God,
I'm so hot for you right now.
And Tag just has this look on his face. He doesn't have to say anything. He knows he's in the right. She knows she's in the wrong. And we call it a day right there. And that's really all that needs to come from this storyline section. But, I mean, there were some real positives for Tag, and there were some real lows for Rachel here.
Yeah, and you mentioned it already earlier, but I gotta say it again. In the opening scene where Tag is like, I wonder if we could see my apartment from here. And Rachel's just like, oh, no, I've already, no, we can't do that. I've tried.
Yeah, can't see it.
And then she's just like, so anyway, yeah. And it's like, wow, Rachel, like, so she's up on the roof, like, trying to see.
I think I said at the beginning that she can see it, but she cannot. Like, she's tried to see it.
Yes, she's tried.
Like, it's noteworthy that she's tried. So now let's jump into Phoebe's smoke detector here, where Phoebe's smoke detector is going off, and she rips it off the wall, and she takes the batteries out of it and hits it with a hammer a bunch of times, only for her to throw it into a blanket that has her name on it, bad call, and throw it down the fire escape, or not the fire escape, but the laundry chute, the
garbage
chute.
The garbage chute.
Yes,
yeah.
The garbage chute to get rid of it fully, only for Ben from Grey's Anatomy to show up.
Yes, thank you, Ben Warren,
and bring back the thing. Now, I will say this. I am not a huge Grey's Anatomy fan, but my wife has watched every episode. I watched a lot of the early stuff. I think once a lot of the early cast got out, I kind of faded out as well. So, but I know who Ben is. And
yes.
it's when he made the appearance, I'm like, oh, there he is from Grey's Anatomy. I got this one.
Well,
I don't know that I would have called his name, but I know who he is.
Well, and the funny thing is that he also plays, there's this crossover show called Station 19. And sorry, I know this. It's a little
That's all right.
It's a little embarrassing, but
you're allowed to know these things.
They're just these like very soap opera shows. And but he's on this crossover show Station 19, which is all about it's a fire show. So it's the Station 19. So he stops being a doctor.
Maybe he got that job.
He has studied to be a surgeon, but then has a calling to be a firefighter as well, because he's all about just like he likes doing emergencies, and he's very, he's more into the action. So that's where he's feeling like I would be more useful as, not an EMT. Like he's a fireman, but he does like a lot of the saves and has his medical training to help him there as well. So anyway, he's also on this crossover show. Yeah.
Maybe he was able to get the job acting on that show because he has a background in fire acting. As Joey would say.
That's amazing. Yes. Yeah.
The one thing about Ben's appearance here, and I don't actually know the guy's name, but he tells Phoebe, "Oh, you just had to push the reset button."
Okay.
And I would imagine that this guy would stick around and make sure that happened.
I have
because he's just like,
Ben.
Push the reset button. She's like, thank you. And then he just walks out the door, things still going off. I'm like, Phoebe, just throw that thing right back down the trash chute. What are you doing?
Who in their right mind carries this thing all the way back upstairs and it's still going off? He hasn't solved that problem yet, and he just hands it back to her and leaves? No. Ben Warren. Oh my gosh, this is bad. You have not aided to the crisis here at all. I'm disappointed in you. But
I will say,
oh gosh, the reset button, when she finds it too, and she's like, "Oh, the reset button," and it's detached on the table. It's just completely no connection.
Something about the hammering of it all took the reset button out of it.
Yes.
So I will say this is a pretty short, when you add up all the time, there's not a lot that goes on with this scene, but I feel like this scene is very relatable to anyone who's had to deal with a fire alarm that they can't stop from going off.
Yes. Oh, I love the moment where she smashes it with her shoe, and then it's just one long beep. It stops chirping, and it's just beep, and it will not stop. It's even louder, and she just sits in it. She's just staring at it going, "What do you want from me?"
Oh, yeah. I think this is an incredibly relatable moment. I will say I've had plenty of smoke detectors go through that beeping phase. I feel like you can turn them off pretty quickly. It's not that complicated, but at the same time, if you've got a new battery, that's all that matters ever. Put a new battery in it, call it a day, and then this problem would have been solved. But the reset button, know where that is. It's important. Let's jump into the Chandler and Monica of it all, where Chandler's getting chilly and he's wearing Monica's pink jacket because it's flattering.
Oh my God.
But then, as they head downstairs to go to sleep, Chandler cannot sleep. He goes to try to read a book that's boring. It got interesting. He's trying to make warm milk. And then the two decide, okay, we're just going to talk all night long, only for Chandler to finally fall asleep. So Monica wakes him up instead. And then they decide, I know what we can do while we're up, both of us up this late. And they decide they're going to try to have sex, only for Monica to fall asleep during the moment that Chandler was giving you my best moves.
This is sad, Chandler.
Of course,
this is sad.
He wakes her up ultimately by saying, well, I'm just going to go make a cup of coffee, and I probably won't spill coffee grounds all over the kitchen floor. And that gets her right out of bed.
Yes. Yeah, we see a lot of petty Monica between last episode and this one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
for
my
sure.
gosh. And it's funny, but it's like, calm down, Monica. Yeah, her slamming the door when he finally has fallen asleep just to give him the warm milk. But hey, he's woken her up now because he was getting a walk out of the cabinet to make warm milk, or he knocked it down. And I'm thinking,
well, he was getting a walk, but I think he knocked 12 pots and pans out of the cabinet. I mean, it didn't show that, but it sure sounded like he did.
We've all had trouble sleeping before, but has anyone, like, the idea of making warm milk to help me fall asleep never come up?
It feels like something out of a cartoon.
It does. Feels very much like something out of, I guess, his Archie comics that he's been reading, but I don't know. I don't think this is a really a thing that people do. I've never done it. Doesn't sound too good. Sounds a little gross.
It's been said over like people have heard this, like, oh, you just have a glass of warm milk, count sheep, stuff like that, you know? I've never had a glass of warm milk. I don't think it sounds super appetizing.
No.
So no.
But yeah, Chandler he's ruining the plot line of Monica's book. But yeah, the door slamming from Monica. Oh, are you sleeping, sweetie? Wow.
Yeah, that's not great.
I don't know. This plot line, it wasn't the best between Monica and Chandler. There were definitely some funny moments, but it wasn't
my favorite part of this is actually the book. Because Chandler reads this book that is very boring to him. He's like, every time I look at the cover that you're reading this book, I'm just like, and he falls right asleep. So he's going out to find the book. And then when they decide they're going to talk all night, he's like, so how bummed out were you when the second sister died? And she hasn't gotten to that part yet.
Oops.
And I'm thinking to myself, how fast can Chandler read? Or how much of this book has Monica not read? I'm not a fast reader. No doubt about it. But that feels like he's seen it enough that she would be far enough into the book. And then for him to be out there for, I don't know, maybe an hour and knock out that much book is pretty impressive.
Yes. Agreed.
Well, let's talk about the Ross and Joey of it all then, as we get to this final section of all of these plot lines, which this has been. I mean, we usually see Friends broken into 3 or maybe 2, but this is actually broken into 4 segments, which makes every one of these storylines,
that's a good point.
Pretty short. So there's 4 different pieces of story. First of all, this section starts with them waiting for the Bapstein-King comet, only for them to get trapped up on the roof because Joey is checking out the women across the way with his periscope or telescope, which is actually the pipe that is holding the door open. And so Ross has to yell down to try and get people's attention, only for them to end up using the fire escape and get most of the way down before deciding that they need to make the jump. So, I will say this. Joey is here and Ross is trying to go through the academics of it all. And Joey says, you know what else makes you wonder? Check out the rack on this chick. And that's like out of nowhere. And then Ross is like, Joey. And then later he says, oh, well, there's 2 women. Show me where? That way. Like, and they're looking through the thing, or Joey's looking through the pipe, at which this is Ross's moment, like, hey, Joey, do you know what happened to the pipe that was holding the door open? No. Yeah, I do.
There was another moment where they're waiting for Joey to get there. He finally gets there. It's like, yes, I'm holding the pipe. And I'm thinking also, Eric, like, what situation is this where they need this pipe to hold the door open? Eric, I also noticed.
Oh, well, that's not that surprising. Like, you could prop a door open with anything. Like, they don't have keys to get back down.
Well, I know, it's just
which means they shouldn't be up there.
That's all
in the
they
first
were
place.
using. Yeah. Right. But Eric, I did notice in this scene where Ross was like, when he noticed that the door was closed and he went to like see if he could get back, through the doorway, maybe with enough force. Did you notice how that whole structure shook?
The whole set shook. I was like, Ross,
yes.
You're going to literally rip the set apart. Like, he shook the door and the whole framing of the door moved.
The whole thing. I don't think I noticed really a lot of structural things like that in Friends a lot, but I'm like, wow, that whole piece just like, he was like the Hulk in that moment where he almost tore the door off the frame.
So it took the door right off the apartment building. Like, that was noteworthy. I mean, it's very obvious. It's not subtle.
Yeah. I like their different approaches here where it's like, so they know that they're trapped here now. And Ross's initial instinct is just to scream for help from the roof. Like, hey, we're stuck up here. Somebody help us.
Help us. We're stuck on the roof and we can't get down. Don't worry. We're going to go down the fire escape.
Yes, he's trying to then cover as Joey's like, well, my idea was to just climb down these stairs, which obviously was not fully thought out, though, because the fire escape does not apparently go all the way down. It just goes most of the way down, and maybe like the final ladder had snapped off or something.
Well, that's what I was like. They clearly get all the way down to where there would be a ladder that drops, and either the ladder is broken.
This is a safety hazard.
Yeah, or it's jammed and doesn't go down. But they get most of the way down.
We just now have to not hit that patch of ice, that dumpster, or the weird brownish red stuff. So when you get down there, you go back up to the roof and let me in. This is Ross's conclusion. He wants Joey to just like leap down from this platform and then let him safely back in through the roof. Hey, all right. Well, what if I smack my head on the concrete? I'm not going to lie to you, Joey. It's a possibility. Love that line.
I mean, this scene is probably the most memorable one from this episode, where they are climbing down and they eventually decide, okay, well, we're going to lower ourselves down a little bit at a time here. Should we go face to face or butt to face? And they're like, face to face is the way. And then they get halfway down and they're like, I don't know that we thought this face to face through all the way. As Ross puts his crotch right in Joey's face.
That scene of Ross climbing down Joey is really funny. I'm holding a little holiday weight. He prefers not to tell Joey his weight because, I prefer not to answer right now. I'm carrying a little holiday weight. And, he's crawling down. He's like, do not rush me. And his pants, I guess Joey's pants are then starting to fall down. He's not wearing any underwear.
Listen, we can stay here for a while, but my pants are starting to slip and I'm not wearing any underwear. So Ross just takes that moment to make the leap and drops down. And we never actually see Joey drop farther. But Joey, I will say this, I'm interested from like a set design perspective. Joey is holding on to this the whole way. And you can see his feet, okay? So it's not like he's standing on something being propped up. You can see his feet dangling.
Yes.
So my question is he firm just gripping this, or is he like strapped into this thing somehow?
That's a great question. I think
he's got to be connected to this.
You think so? Yeah, I don't know.
You think he's just firm gripping it while Ross is sliding down?
I think it might be like, obviously they're only like a few inches from the ground in reality, but like I think yeah. But
that's,
I don't know.
He's still got to hold him up.
I know.
I don't think so. I think he's got like some sort of bracket through his jacket that is like strapped him to the post. That way he's not moving.
Yeah, right.
Because he's not sliding at all. No. He is like locked in.
Matt LeBlanc is strong. Yeah.
Strong.
I love earlier in this too when Joey's like, listen, I have an audition. I can't go if I break my leg. And Ross is like, well, I have a son and he won't have a father if I die. And Joey's just like, well, it looks like we're even. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but also just the extremes of like Joey feeling like he might break his leg if he falls, and Ross just assuming he'll die if he falls from this distance.
Well,
it's so funny.
This is also similar because Ross is the one screaming from the top looking for help, and Joey's trying to find a way to get at least closer to the bottom.
Well, and then Ross also wants to potentially break in to the apartment that's next to the fire escape. It's like, Ross, you're in New York City, and he's just like, yeah, I don't think anyone's home. Why? Because it's at night and the lights are off? Like, oh my God, this is insane. They knock on the window and a large dark
dog.
A dog starts to bark. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Ross.
Do you remember, by the way, the Babstein King comet?
I don't remember.
I remember. I do remember that. That was like a big deal. Yeah. Like people were really, I mean, I don't think I went out and saw it. I don't know if I was able to see it. Maybe I did. But I remember it being a big thing in the news that, so I felt like this was a very interesting reference point because it was a thing that people were trying to like get out and see and be able to see, because it only comes by every 500 years or whatever it is. Like it's one of those things that they can calculate when the next one is.
I don't know, Eric. I'm looking this up, and it's saying the Babstein King comet is not a real astronomical object, but a fictional comet.
There is a thing. There is, well, then maybe it's named differently, but at this point in time, in this time frame, there was a comet that was like the something King or Keen or whatever comet that came through.
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe I'm just connecting the names, but I am telling you there was one that was a big deal at that time, and I don't remember what the name of it was, but I remember there being one that a lot of people were doing watch parties for, and I'll try and figure it out.
The Haley Bop.
Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah, the Hale Bop comet.
I do remember. Yeah, Hale Bop. Oh gosh, guys, sorry, this is not. My husband is probably screaming at me from the other room as he's listening to this conversation. He probably knows what it is. He's very into space. Yeah,
he knows. Okay, so the name is fictitious, but the event is not.
Oh, comets happen. Yeah, I believe that.
No, but this was like a big deal. Like this was one that was specific. Sure. That was like, and because this is now about 2001, so this is. You know, this is like me being at the end of high school, early college years. That's where I am in my life. And I remember this being a thing that I feel like did I go out? I might have done something with friends to like try and track this down somewhere.
Yeah. No, I believe it. Well,
not with the show friends, my actual friends.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I like also when Ross finally drops to the ground, he's like, oh, I really twisted my ankle. Oh, a quarter.
Yeah, because then they flip a coin.
Yeah, they flip the coin and then
they flip the coin so he found this quarter at the bottom.
Off the balcony. I'm like, Joey, my gosh.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Not smart. All right, so now we're going to jump into the IMDb ratings segment of our podcast where we talk about our ratings and your ratings of the way that we find them on IMDb, not to mention our favorite and least favorite characters. I'm not even going to pull punches here. I've been very adamant about it all episode long. Joey is my favorite character. It's not close.
I feel like we've kind of agreed upon that along the way. It's not always obvious when we're having these conversations about who we're going to pick, but yeah, I think we both really like Joey in these episodes. He was so funny.
I have to say, this is the third episode in a row that I picked Joey.
Oh,
and
man.
There is part of me that I was like, do I really want to pick Joey again? And the answer is yes. Yes, I do. Because he's the funniest one right now. He is on such a roll. It's unbelievable. Like this string of 6 episodes that he has delivered on, I might argue is the best performance of any character over a 6-episode stretch. And he has all of it. He's got the moments with Phoebe where he's like the sentimental guy. He's got the one-liners. Yes. He's got all sorts of little jokes along the way, not to mention some of the funnier parts of the stories. So he's just easily my favorite character at this point.
I feel like it really got kicked off even by those episodes. I mean, this was more about Joey Tribbiani being a great actor than Matt LeBlanc, but in the episode where with the proposal, and we kept calling out how like this is the best performance from Joey Tribbiani in acting because he like lied directly to Monica, but then like turned it around and then lied to Chandler, like because he was just acting his ass off. And I feel like from that episode going like into this season, he has just been really great as an actor, Joey, and as Matt LeBlanc just pulling in with these amazing, surprising one-liners. Him with the fork, it's just such an amazing moment where he just pulls the fork. That was like such amazing writing for the show. That's like, hey, how could we bring Matt LeBlanc back into this moment, tie it all together? Oh yeah, he just carries a fork around with him. Brilliant. Love that.
Why wouldn't he? He's Joey.
What are we having? And he is also just totally open to eating off the floor. Does not question it for a second. Just figures, hey, what are we having? When most people's reaction would be, what the hell are you guys doing, you wild animals eating off the ground? Yeah. Nope, Joey is just totally game. He's right there with his friends. It's so funny. Yeah, love that. And yeah, love him being there for Phoebe as just, even though he gives her a hard time at first, he is just like, I could give it a shot trying to solve David's problem so that he could be back with her in the States. It's like, yeah.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that, Joseph Tribbiani. You who carry around a fork are going to go out of your way to solve some incredibly complex science situation.
I would have loved to have moments of him like trying to like read through books to figure this out for Phoebe, but no, we didn't really get that. Yeah, but so I love Joey too.
I think the better question though is, who's your least favorite?
Okay. I'll go first here.
Okay, I have mine, but it's down to 2.
Yeah.
But I still have mine.
This was a little bit tough for me, but there was really only one obvious pick. As much as I love Rachel in the cheesecake bit, because their back and forth with Chandler was great, I felt like I had to go with Rachel because, listen, Phoebe just even solo with the smoke detector was hilarious. I loved her in that moment. I think back to those moments sometimes and she's so funny. Ross coming down from the roof with Joey. I love those moments too. I could not give it to Ross. And Chandler was also kind of like, but I don't know, in the first episode that we talked about, the one with all the cheesecakes, him with Rachel, I loved his moments more. Like when she, I know I've mentioned this a few times now, but when she drops the cheesecake and he just turns around and goes, oh, there's just something about his reaction there that's like, hey, look what you did there. It's really funny. So didn't like him as much in the second one, so I could almost see the argument for Chandler, but I went with Rachel because I just felt like, yeah, for all those reasons, I guess. Her misplacing the papers, It just wasn't as funny.
So here's where I'm at. I'm at Rachel or Monica. Okay? And again, you picked Joey and Monica. Rachel. You picked Joey and Rachel last week.
Oh,
I also picked Joey and Rachel last week.
Oh, yeah.
You're doubling down on it again. And here I am looking at Joey and or Rachel or Monica. And I will say this. Thinking through, here's where we're at. Monica's negative moment. The whole sequence with Franny at the wedding. Not a big fan. Right? Not a big fan of Monica forcing her way in. The blood relative. I mean, listen, there's still funny parts, but it's not great from Monica. And then you also have the Monica Up All Night story where she's, falling asleep and waking Chandler up, and then like upset that he told her about the book. Like there's stuff there.
Yeah.
Rachel with the cheesecake is really good.
That is funny.
And then I think Rachel with Tag is much less good. In fact, Tag looks pretty good there.
It's less
but
good.
Rachel, I mean, I have a hard time with Rachel delivering the exact same joke 4 times. Like that's not on her, that's on the writers, but it's still her character, and so it is what it is.
Hey, yeah.
I will say this. Of all of those things that I just talked about, my favorite of them all is Rachel with the cheesecake. And so I will pick Monica. I don't necessarily think that... I think Rachel had a lot worse things than what Monica did. But when I stack them up next to each other, I like that scene from Rachel more than any of the scenes from Monica. So I'm going to go with Monica and save us from also doing Joey and Rachel back to back again.
Yeah, that's fair. I just, oh my goodness, when I was thinking about, I know I didn't even mention Monica in my rundown there, but I just, I love the blood comment, and as petty as she is with Chandler, I think that she's just, I don't know, I find her to be really funny.
I find that scene with Monica and Chandler in the Up All Night is funny. I agree. But I think the cheesecake with Chandler and Rachel is funnier.
It's true. It's true. And you know what, Eric, we didn't even really mention, because I know we like to talk about less common pairings, and Rachel and Chandler really don't have like just them often. Where it's just
and that was pretty
together. Good. That was really good.
And not only was that really good, but it's also it's a scene that when I think back on Friends, the cheesecake is definitely a scene that I recall easily.
True. Yeah.
The Up All Night is not.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I actually had a moment when I started watching this episode where I'm like, oh yeah, like I guess I didn't in my mind connect like all of those, just thinking about the Up All Night episode, all of those bits together in one episode, like Phoebe with the fire, the smoke detector, and the Ross and Joey coming down from the fire escape. I kind of forgot that those were actually in the same episode. I don't know about you.
Well, let's parlay that discussion into our ratings here.
Yes.
Because I will say this. Because of that, the one with all the cheesecakes is my higher rated episode easily.
Okay.
The one where they're up all night, I think all of those things are funny in some ways, but the fact that they split that episode 4 different ways, to me, was too thin. There was never a story that I could kind of like get behind. Okay. It was more whiplashy, kind of bouncing around.
Yeah.
There are definite moments that I enjoy from that episode, but as such, it will be the lower of the two. I much rather enjoy watching the cheesecake, and specifically the cheesecake being secondary to the Joey Phoebe storyline with David coming back in. That was my favorite stretch of all story, including things with Joey being at the table trying to stretch out this dinner. Like, that's probably my favorite scene in the whole thing, where he's when she finally figures it out and he's like, no, I'm gonna make you feel bad about this. And here's what I'm gonna do. So I am gonna give the one with all the cheesecakes an 8.7, which is pretty high for what I've been doing recently. In fact, it ties the Holiday Armadillo, the very last episode that we did. I will give the one where they're up all night an 8.2. I do like all the components of it, but it is not my favorite because I think it's just too disjointed.
Yeah. Okay. So that's fair. I felt differently about these episodes because I actually was very close in rating both of them. So I was struggling to figure out which one I liked more, because they do have different styles to them when you really get down to it that reason.
Yeah.
But I loved like kind of the rapid fire between all the different like really funny plot lines, and it was kind of hard for me to pick like even out a plot line that I didn't like out of the one where they're up all night. I guess it would be the Monica Chandler bit, but it just doesn't last.
No,
like there isn't as much content there. I don't know.
It would be the Rachel Tag piece.
I like that one more.
It's Rachel and Tag.
Although it's funny that I'm saying I like that more, but then I picked Rachel as my least favorite. I'm
what I'm saying.
I'm a complex character, but
I guess so.
So either way, I gave the one where they're up all night an 8.8.
Oh my, okay.
And I gave the one with all the cheesecakes also, as you did, an 8.7. So to me, I loved both of these, but that one was slightly below. I don't know. I really like them both, but I really enjoy, I guess, the Ross and Joey coming off the fire escape just cracks me up every time, as well as, and so does Phoebe with the smoke detector. Those are my two favorite like plot lines out of that episode. So yeah.
So I'll say this: the one where they're up all night, it's not my favorite because you can't sink your teeth into any of these, storylines that are going on. They're all too fast for me. But you're not wrong that they're all funny in their own ways. Specific, and I will say easily for me, Rachel and Tag is the least funny part of that whole thing. But the contract like hiding back and forth is pretty decent. That stuff is good. It's the joke that they do that runs it into the ground for me. But even with that, my least favorite section of all of these is Monica bullying herself into a wedding. Like that's the least favorite story.
It's so awkward.
When you take the 4 storylines in the quick cut of They're Up All Night and the 3 storylines in the one with all the cheesecakes, the one where Monica is pushing her way into a wedding is my least favorite section.
It is such a perfect Monica moment, though, where it's like, yeah, this is her character. This is something that, like I said, I cannot even imagine the concept of like not being invited to something and then forcing my way in. First of all, forcing Ross to like cancel with his date so that she can go with him just to show up and then find out that the reason you weren't invited is because you had slept with the groom. This whole thing is just so cringy all the way around. I do enjoy sometimes having those like Monica and Ross like reminder that they're brother and sister and this is like a family event that they're going to together, to kind of like break them out of the friend group for that reason, and just having them acting
but you know
together
what?
is funny. But yeah,
it's disappointing though that they didn't get Judy and Jack Geller involved in this.
Yes, you're right. They should have been showcased. They weren't there at all, were they? Wait,
they did not show them for a second.
I guess they didn't.
No, they didn't. And yet Monica said that they were invited.
Yeah.
So like it's definitely a dropped moment, and I think if you had got them there and even just given each of them like a one-liner, that would have changed that storyline completely too.
Interesting. Yep. What could I have possibly have done? It's more of a question of who could you possibly have done.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with that, I do have the ratings from IMDb now. I will say that as I like peruse Reddit and stuff now for different shows and things, I see people putting up grids of like all of the IMDb ratings, and I just am like, oh no, I don't want to pay attention.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed when I see that, because they're always color coded, what I'm seeing is like the final seasons of shows are like way worse off.
Oh, really? A lot of times. Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're just getting to that final season with Stranger Things. We are, a few seasons out with Friends, but it's funny to me that that's kind of how it shakes out. And I think people just have a hard time with like the wrap up, and they want it to be a specific way. And if it's not their way, people get really upset about it.
Well, it's a tough thing to like, I feel like,
it's hard
ending a book, ending a show, like ending anything that closing out a story is just a tough task for writers. I mean, I could really like, there's a few shows when I think of, man, that just ended. That was a perfect ending. Really only a couple shows come to mind. And the one that first comes to mind for me, Eric, I know you haven't seen it yet, but we've talked about covering it here on We Run on Reruns, is Breaking Bad. That has a fantastic ending. Like, but it's true though. To that point, it's like there's few shows where I really think of, wow, that was great. And honestly, Stranger Things falls into that bucket. I love the end of Stranger Things. There were some leading up to the ending moments that I was like, that was a little tough, but the actual conclusion, love it, was satisfying, felt like it pulled the whole room together, as I'd say on The Big Lebowski. So Big Lebowski, another good one. So anyway.
Well, it's a movie. It's a little different in the movie than the show.
But it's true. But it's still, and a conclusion of any kind to a story is just, it's not.
I think the thing with the TV shows though is that people have
invested a lot.
Felt like they've committed years to watching this show, and they want to see the payoff that they're hoping for. And sometimes they get it, and sometimes they don't. And
what's the first thing that comes to mind for you where you're like, wow, that I wish that had ended differently?
I know people crush the How I Met Your Mother finale.
Oh, that one.
People kill it.
Oh, it's not good. Yep.
I will fall on the side of more positive on that one than negative. But I understand why people hate it, and we will probably cover that show down the line. And so there are pieces of that we'll probably go back through and absolutely kill or love. That one is one that stands out. I think Friends, when we get down to it, does a pretty decent job of wrapping everything up.
Oh, but, is there one that
through
sticks out to you about not liking it so much though? Like where you're like, oh man, like I really wish that something else had gone down at the end.
I think there are components of like Game of Thrones.
Okay. Right.
Or I'll stand with How I Met Your Mother on those two shows specifically that I would have liked to have seen something go differently.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
you accepted it.
I am okay with the way that they ended, and I can look at it and go, yeah, I see how all of these characters ended up in the spot that they ended up in, and therefore I am okay with this. And so for Game of Thrones specifically, the concern is not how it ended, but the pace in which it ended.
Oh, agreed.
It's not necessarily the way it ended. And for
agreed.
For How I Met Your Mother, I feel like there's just, if you were going to end it in this fashion, then what did you do all this other stuff for? So it's kind of like the lead up.
Yeah,
the lead ups to these things were not the way that I wanted. When it comes to just like really didn't like the ending of a show, I think it would probably be more like The Office.
Oh yeah,
and it's not the end. It's not the last episodes of The Office. It's just like. Like once Michael left, it really was not my favorite at that point. And I still think there were a lot of very good episodes strewn in and about that. But it just really had a hard time, I think, rallying at that point. So
I agree. We'll talk about, I know a lot in our home about it.
But we still got,
what a strange choice.
We got to talk about these ratings though. We still have to give the ratings for these episodes.
That's right. Yeah, let's
which we
see.
have not done.
What are
yet.
they? I know. So what do the people say?
For the people side with you. They have said that the one where they're up all night is a little bit better than the one with all the cheesecakes. Okay. So the one where they're up all night, they have given an 8.5.
Okay.
And the one with all the cheesecakes, they've given an 8.4.
Oh, so super close too. Yeah.
So they're very close.
Okay.
We are both more positive on the one with all the cheesecakes, and the people have kind of split between us on the other one where they're up all night. So I find that seems, reasonable.
Hey, I guess we'll accept it, right? We have no
We'll
choice.
accept it. We'll accept that one. I will accept that one No, there are times that I do not accept them.
That's true.
I don't.
That's true.
I will not accept some of them, but that one, I get behind that.
Well, and I like to see so the ratings are coming up a bit too. I guess pretty steady with the Holiday Armadillo was also 8.4, so we stayed at 8.4 through episode 11, and now we're halfway through the season already. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's those early episodes though that they got a bunch sub 8 in a row that really kind of got us there. But yeah, we're halfway now. And I'm looking at future episodes. Like we got Rosita in the next one, then they're all going to turn 30. We get
it's more of a flashback
awards.
episode.
We get the cousin coming up. We get the wedding. Chandler's dad's going to come into play here. Like there's a lot to like about how the rest of the season goes on.
Oh my God. I just have to mention really quick, looking forward to the one with Joey's award. Eric, did you see that clip online of someone actually graciously, accepting the fact that they did not get the award? You know how Rachel does the okay, what's your face gonna be? Well, there really was someone who they mirrored Rachel's reaction to an actual reaction of someone losing, and it was they were doing they were doing the Rachel. Yes.
yes.
So
I would
funny.
I if I had such an opportunity, I would do that. I don't envision myself being in that position anytime soon.
Hey, it was a good one, but just sorry, had to mention that. So good. Look forward to talking about that one for sure. But we have many to go before we get to that point.
Well, thank you so much for listening to the We Run on Reruns podcast. As we said at the top, please check out our socials, Instagram, YouTube, all the other ones that are out there. And you can give us a 5-star rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, not to mention all the other podcast players. As Amanda mentioned, we're on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, all of them. It's just, there's so many to mention.
So many.
We're everywhere. You can also check out our website, werunonreruns.com, where we've got all these episodes in full as well. And for Amanda, this is Eric. Get ready to check out episodes 13, the one where Rosita dies, and episode 14, the one where they all turn 30 this week. Happy rerunning, everybody.
See you, pals. Bye, guys.